Hi, guys. Hello and welcome to Transits and Tactics. We are experiencing solar transit in gate 10, the gate of behavior of self. So you could be paying attention of how people are expressing themselves, whether they're on their best behavior, whether they're expressing yourself in a way that doesn't suit them, does just you feel bad that they don't see how in a certain way they behave or express themselves can affect them badly, or you can be thinking about yourself and how you are showing up, and are you showing up in a way that's true to your unique self, or you're maybe trying to fit some sort of mold, or behave in a way that should be, or accepted societally, but it's not really your thing. And so talking about this, thinking about this, I've definitely already sensed these themes. Even today, I was getting a haircut, and this is exactly what we were talking about for the whole time with my hairdresser, about how to express yourself in a marriage, how to express yourself, here, and how to approach this, how to be friends, how to tell people you don't want to be friends that much, things like that. And it's so interesting, all these themes. This is a really good transit. Now there's also, of course, there could be feeling of sadness as part of this, melancholy is a part of this gate, and it's could be to do with maybe you not being able to express yourself, or again seeing somebody doing something that undermines them, or doing something that is just feels misaligned, and that can make you feel sad. Be aware though that we also have the grounding from Earth being in gates of extremes, gate 15, and that means that you can also, there are extremes underlying this thing. So follow your strategy and authority before you're going to correct, before you're going to express. You can also maybe unleash something that is out of the ordinary in your own expression. And if your authority says a yes, then go for it, because it could be a beautiful time. It could be a beautiful time to express yourself through content, through doing something that you were holding back and always wanted to do. But again, do it out of the right reasons, that your body or your authority is saying yes and it feels right, rather than doing it out of desperation, or just because you think you should, or because somebody else or everybody else is doing that thing and that you're not doing, and now you want to do it. And because it can just come across, again, remember, others will also notice when you're doing something that doesn't feel aligned or feels a little, undermining for you. And sometimes we don't even realize. I see that a lot on social media, and you probably will, you've experienced this too. You see someone showing up and expressing themselves, and there is something off. It's either they're too polarizing that doesn't suit them, or they're holding back, and you can sense it. They're not telling you the full story. So there's a kind of like a break. There's a dissonance that's happening. This week, this perception will be much more acute. These are the themes that we're dealing with. And of course, this is a gate from that can form several channels, so there's 3 harmonic gates that can form different channels. So let's have a look very quickly. If you have gate 57 in your splenic center, the channel of perfected form is activated. And it's about the awareness of having beauty or lack of beauty in your life. So you could be annoyed with, for example, your setup in your office. Or maybe then how you can channel this in a more positive way, see what you can change if you're annoyed. Or you might just appreciate how beautiful, your settings, your environment is. And of course, it's also, your own appearance. Watch your feelings about it. Just because you feel bad about something doesn't mean that you are, if you feel bad about how you look, doesn't make you ugly. It's just you need more self-care a little bit. Just do something for yourself. Book a facial. I don't know, do something, because it really shifts that perspective. We have to learn. I find that with seeing the beauty, especially with ourselves, and this is as a visibility strategist, the shiny cover, how you present yourself is very important. And it's one thing is unfair is to say to someone, oh, you always look good, or because it's not how that person feels. It doesn't matter. We are all beautiful in our own unique way. And it's about how you feel about that, and then how you manage that feeling, because we most of the time don't feel good about ourselves. I think it's in human nature. Most people don't. So how do you manage that? How do you approach that? Is a very, very good thing to ponder on, right? And then find tools to uplift you, rather than bring you down with those negative thoughts and self-punishing thoughts because of, taking a selfie in a bad light and then saying, oh, I look horrible on pictures. Well, you have to understand about the lighting and about, we can all look, or angles, we can all look really horrible on pictures if we're doing it wrong, right? So the 57 gate is this kind of, we're talking about the beauty, inner beauty, outer beauty. So that's really interesting one. You might learn something, as what I'm saying. You might spend time, if you have this gate 57, you might spend time on getting skills that will contribute to improving this beauty in your life. It could be something physical, like dancing, or expressing yourself physically, or it could be how to take better selfies, right? So if you feel the pull for improving something, go for it. It's a good week to do that. If you have gate 20, which is in your throat, then you might be experiencing the themes of the channel of awakening. And it's very interesting because it is about expressing your higher self through the throat, right? And it's a projected channel. So you have to wait for invitation. So this is where you need to be wise when to speak and when not to speak. Just because you see that somebody is behaving in a way that you don't think is aligned with them, and you disagree and it makes you feel embarrassed or sad, it doesn't mean you need to express that. So follow your strategy and authority. If somebody is open to feedback, it's going to land very beautifully. If the invitation was not extended, you could be in trouble, and then you will feel bad about and sensitive that people are not listening, right? So this is the kind of themes I have, that right? And I have to bite my tongue, if I see something. Sometimes less is more. If you have the 20th gate active, but you have undefined throat normally, right now, this less is more, and backing off and not speaking until you really have the real invitation, not that you just like decided, right? That's very important, because with the undefined throat, a lot of times people tend to overcompensate by speaking too fast, too much, in inappropriate timing, and that just causes a lot of trouble, right? So less is more. It's just because you speak less or you don't say something when you feel like it doesn't make you less powerful. In fact, there is, as they say, silence is golden, right? This is the rule for you. And then we have also 34 that can form the channel of exploration. And 34 is a pure manifest, like 34 is the generated channel, right? It comes from your sacral, and it's about loving what you do. So if you have 34 defined naturally, you might find that you're thinking about, how much do you really love what you do, how to do more things that you do it. Because when you do that as a generated channel, like if you're a generator, manifesting generator, if you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. It's pure satisfaction, right? And it's a beautiful, beautiful energy. So watch this. However, if you have 34 defined on the undefined sacral, right? If you're a non-energy type, or if you projector, manifester, reflector, now you might be focusing on things that you do love, but they might be unsustainable for you. Because I'm saying we because we're both from projectors, we don't know when enough is enough with this. We don't know when we are tired. We don't know, and we can overextend ourselves even with the things that we love, and then experience the burnout. So if you're thinking, especially if you're deciding, we are now heading into Christmas holidays or holidays wherever you are, and then New Year's, and then the start of the year. So we are already naturally starting to get, think about 2025. What are we going to do? What are we going to launch? What are we going to focus on? So this week, be aware that you might like something, but how much effort is it going to take? If you're a generator type, don't worry about it. You will have access to that satisfaction. But if you don't have a defined sacral, just make it suitable to you and your energy levels. And that's the golden rule. And it's wonderful when you honor your energy levels first, then you marry it with what you love to do. And then you build your business strategy, marketing strategy on that. Beautiful things manifest. Annita, manifestation is your domain. So how are you experiencing this?
Absolutely. This is great. I have this energy as well. And the importance of this is that it's the love of self. So the with this 10-15, what can happen is you get too drawn into the other's life, losing your identity, or you get too self-involved. So the narcissist, getting stuck in your own reflection, basically.
Mm.
It's a brilliant, brilliant energy. But what I love about this is tomorrow is the solstice. This energy is the sun moving into Capricorn. So it's really the shortest day of the year. But from this day on, what happens, or this energy brings us into the light. Now, if this is the shortest day of the year, tomorrow is going to be brighter. The following day is going to be brighter. And it's all indicating the power of manifesting
Mm.
because we have two different types. First of all, looking at the solstice, Newgrange in Ireland is an ancient, ancient site, thousands of years old. And on this day, every year, the sun shines and lights up the inner
Yes,
side.
may I actually just explain? I went there when I lived in Ireland. I went there. I just so people don't understand, maybe they don't understand what it is. It's a dome. It's
Mm.
underground. And so you're going into this like man-made dome, and on the solstice, in complete darkness, at some moment, the sun shines through and lights up with this one ray of sunshine, lights up the whole dome. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
Just for clarity.
exactly. But it indicates, as the shortest day of the year, it indicates the light is coming. So within a few days, we have Christmas, right? So the 25th, which is moving into a slightly different energy. But right now, we have ways that we've learned at this time of year of manifesting. Certain times of year are better than others. So at Christmas, we teach our children how to wish, how to put that wish out to the universe, out to Santa Claus, how to receive, how to be grateful and celebrate receiving what they've manifested, right? And as humans, in this, from the spiritual perspective, we have the birth or the perceived birth of Christ, where it's really the spiritual light. It's harnessing your inner spirit, inspire, to align with the universal laws to create. So it's a really, really beautiful energy. And the 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 issue with it can be when I'm denying myself by doing what I think I should, by trying to fit in, I'm not myself. And so this gate starts the journey for people, for everybody on the planet, of self-awareness. So you go through where you investigate. It starts with the question, who am I? Why am I doing this? What's my purpose, right? Next step is the deep inner questioning, almost withdrawing. So it's a good time, as Juliet said, to take some time alone and focus on what you want to create next. What's most natural for you? What's most aligned with your natural energy? Because the next step is the natural, literally when you're questioning about yourself, letting go the questioning, the acceptance of self. Start accepting yourself and then moving into sharing that with others. And then moving into practical application of that. I'm going through the 6 lines of this energy, right? And then gate 6 is be the change that you want to see in the world. You be it first. It's a very normal, natural thing. So it's very powerful energy, tendency to be super victim on one end and superhero on the other. So as Juliet said, when you're looking at yourself first, um, you might start seeing that everybody else is wrong. You
Mhm.
might notice everybody else is wrong first, but that's your mirror to say, hey, you need to look in, right? So it's very cool. It's a really cool energy with respect to self-awareness. And as you said, there's so many different ways this can connect. And that's why I say to all my clients, if things are going pear-shaped or askew in your life, go back to you. Go back to you. Ground, center, take your space, enjoy your space. Do that exercise, focus on you, and find the balance between too much in their world, too much in your own world. Find that balance and enjoy. It's beautiful manifesting energy.
I love that. I love that. It also echoes with what I always say about us being in our cocoons. Focus on yourself, focus within. It doesn't matter what human design you have even, because when I'm working with people and with their charts and when I'm getting to know them and also analyzing myself and people in my world, I can see so clearly it's the moment when our focus is on the other that breaks this beautiful cocoon of power and then we're like a deflating balloon, jumping, like being thrown, not even jumping because we've no control, being thrown all over the place. Imagine this deflating balloon, right? How it just like
Yeah.
bounces all over. And that's what happens. And that's a really horrible place to be. And then the only way for us to stay centered is to stay within ourselves. This energy now, the focus, the mind will be going into the behaviors, the manners, the what I love. Am I true to
Mm.
myself? Am I not true to myself? Is he true to himself? Is she true? Here's very, I think, a fine line is that to bring it back to yourself. It's not, it's going to be difficult because you're going to be very acutely aware of others being maybe not, or others' behavior, others' way of expressing themselves, and you might want to avoid conflict. You want to say something. You might, you'll have all these kind of internal battles because this is where we're focusing on the higher self being expressed, right? The behavior being expressed. But if you're focusing within first, then you will be able to offer that advice in a way. You will wait for that invitation. You won't feel out of control that you have to jump into things, or you will just analyze internally, powerfully, what's going on, how it affects you, whether it is your place or not, even to get into these things. These are the themes that I'm experiencing anyway. I can see that, I can see how all my focus is, are they correct in their behavior or not right now? And I'm not surprised that this is the gate that we're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does, it triggers your separation anxiety really a lot, or your attachment style,
Oh,
which of
yes.
course, when I'm too attached to my goal, I block it, so it's really interesting. So can I, being myself, the dance of being with myself and being with others, we're back in that again. And we're moving from Sagittarius, which is I have these ideas, moving into Capricorn. First, you need to engage your light, your
Mm,
essence, your inner light. And Capricorn is bringing it into practical manifestation. Let's
yes.
ground it. Let's bring this into our business. And, so there's a natural progression here that's very exciting. But, and, as you said, it has its downfalls. Of course it does. But, that's the whole point. Balance is that, if you have too much of this, too much self, you become obsessed with yourself. If you have
Yes.
too little, you become obsessed with the other. And that's when the chaos happens, when you lose. I had a lovely thing. I used to keep it in front of me for when I started my business first. You only see the obstacle when you lose track of your goal.
Yeah.
And so when you get too out focused, and this is where our journey starts. Who am I? We look outside ourselves because that's how we learned. And then you drop looking outside of yourself and start looking in. So it's like a spiritual awakening,
Mm,
which is also coinciding with the nodes moving into Pisces in a few weeks' time. And they are like that happened last in June 2006, which was the start of a spiritual awakening for me. Anyway, I moved into working with the angels around that time. And, so it's all moving into look, guys, you can stay in your head all you like, but you'll only get so far. The
yeah.
same with spirituality. You can meditate and you can dream and you can visualize. But if you're not taking the action, if you're not practically applying that spiritual guidance, that essence, that energy, you're not going to get anywhere either.
No.
So the balance is key. And that's why that gate 10 is attached to so many different things. You need to feel it. You need to speak it. You need to, receive. It's all there. So yeah, that's really
it's
all I
it's
have.
so it really, I think it's a really good energy, and I really think that now, with I'm not talking now about like being too obsessed with yourself in a narcissistic way. Be aware, we can catch ourselves, with these kind of thoughts, right? But I think it's a really good, in terms of your business, your marketing, a little pause and reflection exercises, like writing down, thinking, and talking and journaling about, what do you actually love? Are you expressing yourself in a way that feels the most beautifully inside, because that's what higher self is. And that something that's easy, something that's natural, something that's, something that, that it's really, and let's use this word, selfishly feels good for you, rather than that you're doing something, following some strategy or doing things that, you should do. Journal about this, see what comes out. And then with those harmonic gates that we went through, again, there's questions you can journal. It's not about constantly like focusing and questioning it, but it's just letting it flow. Where is the beauty? Where's the beauty in how you show up? Where's the beauty in where you're working, where you're situated? What is the beauty, for example, in your business even? That's if you have the gate 57, right? So the perfected form. You have gate 20. Think about, like, let me just think, what's the best question for um what do you want to express? What are the topics that are coming out of you? Because journaling is not, you don't need invitation for that. What is at the tip of your tongue that you want to say? Even if you want to say it to another, journal this. It might be a safer way for you to express this energy right now. And gate 34, do I love what I'm doing? What are the things I love within what I'm doing? That's actually a really good exercise anyway at all times, because when you define what you love doing, you see that other things can actually be reduced or dropped off altogether. There's a lot of things that we're normally doing, there's too much. So these are good questions. If you have some time for yourself, this is the time to reflect, because that's where the focus is. Guys, thank you so much for being with us on yet another Transits and Tactics episode, and we will see you next week on another transit.